Welcome to creating a web page to go from Codepen to Dreamweaver Part 2. Very important, watch Part 1 before you watch Part 2. All right, so in our previous lesson, we looked at Codepen and actually looked at how the web page is broken down so that a browser can actually read it, because Codepen does a lot of the back-end work for us, creating a HTML tag, a body tag, and a head tag with a title. So what I want to show you is that we previously created a index.html file, and we saved that to our drive, to our files. So you can see I've got an index.html file here, and we created the code to specify to the browser doc type HTML. Here's my whole HTML body or HTML information. Here's the head tag, which is stuff that the browser needs to know, but the user doesn't necessarily need to see until it needs to manifest itself, like the title of the page where it says Notes Home up here, and then the body, which is what actually goes on the page here. And we showed how you can open this in both a browser and in Notepad to edit it. Next is to get into Dreamweaver. So if you haven't opened up Dreamweaver yet, go ahead and do so. Usually when you get into Dreamweaver for the first time, it gives you some setting options. I'm going to go ahead and just import sync settings, call it good. If you have more things you need to go through, go ahead and go through those real quick. So what we want to do is we've already created a file. We could create new and start with a brand new website, but we've already created one. And what we're going to need to do first is get our file into here. There's a couple things that I want to point out that are really important and are in another lesson or two, is that when you're doing files inside of Dreamweaver, it's really important that you manage your files appropriately by creating what's called a site. A site is needed to make it so that not only Dreamweaver can just navigate to the folder on your computer to find the files that you need for that site, but it's also so that you can upload that site to the web. And if you have it open like this, where you're just looking at local files, you're going to your computer, you're browsing inside of here, trying to find your different files, that's not creating a site. That is not the proper way to use Dreamweaver, and it's not going to work when you get to the point where you want to upload something to the web at the end of the semester. So it's really important that when we create sites, we click Manage Sites and we bring in those files. So I can still go to File Open, and I can browse to my files, find my index.html, and open that in Dreamweaver. And you can see I've got split view currently selected up here. I can see my code here. There's my manifestation of my page. And then I've got code view where I can just view my code. And then I've got live view where I can just view what it would look like to the user. But you can see over here my index isn't showing in my files, and actually if I wanted to upload this to the web, I would have to do it manually outside of Dreamweaver, not using it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and close this file, and you can have multiple files appear up here and transfer through them, but I'm going to go ahead and close this one real quick, and I'm going to click Manage Sites. If Manage Sites is not available, you can always click this drop-down menu right here and choose Manage Sites at the end of it. When you go to manage a site, you can click New Site and name that site. So I'm going to go ahead and name this Notes. And then what you want to do is point it towards the folder that you created already. Because if you point it automatically to where it goes, you can see it's going to an unnamed site folder that it's creating. It's going to create a folder for me. I don't want that. I already have a folder. It's right here in my Digital Design 1 folder called Notes Website. So I'm going to click this folder icon, and I'm going to go and browse. So I'm going to go to my Digital Design 1 folder, grab my Notes website, and select this folder. The other thing I want to point out in here is that Notes is going to be what appears up here. It doesn't really matter what this is for, like uploading to the web or anything like that. Nobody else is going to see this. This is just for you. Folder, definitely point to the folder you've already created if you've already created one. And you can go ahead and you'll see that all the stuff for the folder pop up here and the notes pop up here. But what's also important is that you've got a server over here. This is when you start wanting to upload it to a web server so that other people can view it on the web and you can view it on the web. So this is where you would set up the server settings. If you didn't click Manage Sites here and set up a site, there is no other option to set up a server. So you have to do that. So once you've got the site name and the folder selected, you can hit save, and you'll see that that will appear here, and we can go ahead and hit done. And now we've got a notes listed in this drop-down menu, and you can see that I have just my files, and look, there's my index.html. Anything else I add into that folder will come into here, and I'll be able to see it, which is really great. So I'm going to go to index.html, and you'll be able to see what you need to see for that page. All right, and it's going to keep trying to take you through tutorials because, you know, you're brand new to Dreamweaver. So now we can go ahead and make a change, like add a paragraph here. And you can see what's nice about Dreamweaver is it's a WYSIWYG. A WYSIWYG is a what you see is what you get. And that's what it stands for, is WYSIWYG. So what that means is it's very helpful. It's going to close tags for you when you open them. It's going to provide color-coded coding. It's going to give you suggestions and tell you where you have errors in your code, all those kinds of things. And you can insert things and have it code it for you. The reason we start with HTML and CSS syntax is so you can actually understand what it's coding for you if you are using those features instead of just letting it code for you and you not understanding how to fix it. Although it closes tags like it just did for me, that doesn't mean you always let it close the right tag. So make sure you're paying attention, and when you open a tag, you close it and you stay within there in the nested properties. So I'm going to say paragraph 1 here. And you can see the second I start making changes, you may have a refresh occurring up here in your split view. If you don't have a refresh, and I think everyone should pay attention to this, whether yours refreshed or not, is if you click up in the split view in the live view, usually it refreshes. If it does not, we can go to Window, Properties, and when you have properties, it will open up a pane that looks like this. I can take the word properties and I can click and drag down to the bottom of my screen till I get this blue line that appears and dock it just below my page code. And then anytime that I make a page or page change in my code, like hit the space bar, there's a refresh button and I can see that up here. So if I change this to like paragraph 2, you can see it isn't refreshing up here, but I can hit refresh down here and now it says paragraph 2. So at this point, you don't need to have Notepad anymore because now you've got Dreamweaver, and you can view your page in the web if you still wanted to. So you can see again, there's a little asterisk right here for Dreamweaver. Hit Control S to save. And although we can see a preview up here, it doesn't always look exact the way it would look in a browser. So I can go ahead and open up my page and refresh it. And now I've got paragraph 2 right there. So you still got your web browser, you still got this here, and you can view those together. And that's how you can get a page into Dreamweaver so that you can begin editing it.